Liverpool could get Marc Guehi transfer done imminently after financial incentive vanishes. Liverpool are still keen on bolstering their backline with the signing of Marc Guehi, even with Giovanni Leone approaching a transfer to Merseyside. The Italian centre-back reportedly traveled to England on Thursday to take part in a medical after the Reds agreed a fee with Serie A side Parma, with Jarell Kwanzaa having since signed for Bayer Leverkusen, however, and Ibrahima Konate still yet to put pen to paper on a contract extension. Reinforcements are a must. As such, both deals for Leone and Guehi reportedly remain on. According to sources close to Marc Brusicotof's, Crystal Palace are hoping to sell Guehi for around the £45 million 50 meters mark. This goes beyond the £35 million 40 meters. Liverpool are understood to value the England international at, whilst we can certainly appreciate that the Eagles will be looking to get a fair deal for a top international. The fact remains that his contract is set to expire next summer. That said, we can certainly appreciate the fact that Oliver Glasner hardly has a lot of time left in the window to source a top-notch replacement. Crystal Palace have lost Champions League incentive. We don't mean to be brutal about this, and, to be clear, we absolutely sympathize with Crystal Palace fans after a CAS ruling ripped up their dreams of competing in the Europa League, not to mention the possibility of securing a route into the Champions League for the 2026-27 season. That said, the awful reality remains that the Selhurst Park-based outfit's incentive for keeping Marc Guehi has gone up in smoke, assuming that a further appeal has little impact on their trade in competitions with Nottingham Forest. There's less of a financial incentive attached to keeping the Englishman. Without significant gains to be made in the immediate term, the logic of holding on to him becomes harder to justify. His wages, combined with the potential transfer fee he could command, make him one of the club's most valuable, saleable assets. Champions League football, unless Palace can mount an unlikely push for top-tier European competition through a high Premier League finish, looks to be firmly off the table this season. Even a Europa League or Conference League place would require a dramatic upturn in form, which at present feels like a long shot. With European football unlikely, Palace may have to realign their priorities toward building a more sustainable squad for the future rather than chasing a short-term dream. In which case, as Chairman Steve Parish has already hinted, the most pragmatic course of action is to cash in on the player while his value is still high. Selling now could not only inject much-needed funds into the transfer budget, but also allow the club to reinvest in multiple areas of the squad, strengthening depth, targeting younger talents, and securing long-term replacements would put Palace in a stronger position for future campaigns, especially if they want to bridge the gap to the Premier League's upper tier. By adding quality options across the pitch, they can reduce reliance on a few key players and better cope with injuries or suspensions. Bringing in promising young prospects not only ensures a pipeline of talent for the years ahead, but also creates assets that could grow in value over time. At the same time, identifying and securing long-term replacements for aging or soon-to-depart stars would provide stability and continuity, helping Palace build a squad capable of competing more consistently with the league's established elite. This combination of short-term reinforcement and forward-thinking recruitment could lay the foundation for sustainable progress. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I was angry all the time. Marcus Rashford reveals true feelings on Jose Mourinho's management approach at Man United. Marcus Rashford has opened up on life under Jose Mourinho at Manchester United and how it took him time to get used to his methods. What happened? Rashford has worked with some of the biggest names in management during his career at Manchester United. The forward was in the academy system under the glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson and went on to feature under Louis van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag, Ralf Rangnick, and Ruben Amorim at Old Trafford. The bigger picture? Rashford is now working under another demanding manager in Hansi Flick after sealing a season-long loan move to Barcelona. The Germans' teams are known for their intensity. With Rashford already having admitted he's found preseason difficult in Catalonia, the attacker has now been asked about the most influential managers he's worked with and spoke about life under Mourinho at Old Trafford. What Rashford said? Speaking on the Rest Is Football podcast, Marcus Rashford opened up about the coaches who shaped his career the most. Influential, I'd probably say Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've had so many different managers, so it's impossible to compare them all directly because each one brought a different philosophy and style. But when you're a developing player still young and figuring out your game, certain managers leave a bigger imprint than others. Up until Jose, I'd never had a manager so absolutely fixated on winning. Don't get me wrong, Van Gaal was also obsessed with results, but he wanted them delivered through a beautiful, methodical style of football. He was about patterns, control, and the artistry of the game. Jose, though, was different for him. The result was everything. If you win, you win. No matter how you get there, that's the most important thing. You don't dwell on it, you just move on to the next challenge. At the start, I found that approach tough. I was angry a lot of the time because I wanted to play in a certain way or focus on specific improvements, but he wouldn't always bring those up if we'd won. For him, a victory was enough. But when we lost, that's when he'd highlight every point, every detail that had been missing. After a few months, I began to understand him better. I started to realize that his mentality was built purely around that winning edge, and there's something incredibly valuable in that. Over time, I began to respect it, even if it was different from what I was used to. Once I accepted it, I found myself benefiting from it. I reaped the rewards because he pushed me in a way that demanded both mental and physical resilience. All three of them, Van Gaal, Jose, and Ole, influenced me in different ways. But Jose's approach to winning and mental toughness really left a lasting mark. What next for Rashford? Barcelona kick off the defense of their La Liga crown on Saturday with a home clash against Real Mallorca, and all eyes will be on whether Marcus Rashford plays any part in the fixture. The England forward, who arrived in Spain amid high expectations, is still awaiting official registration with the league, a process that must be completed before he can feature competitively. The delay is understood to be linked to Barcelona's ongoing financial balancing act, as the club continues to navigate La Liga's strict salary cap regulations. While the Catalan giants are confident the paperwork will be finalized in time, there remains a race against the clock to ensure Rashford is available for selection. For the player himself, the prospect of making a debut in front of a packed Camp Nou is an enticing one. Rashford will be eager to make an immediate impact, not only to repay the faith shown in him by Xavi and the board, but also to set the tone for his first season in Spain. If registration comes through in time, Saturday's fixture could offer a glimpse of how he fits into Barcelona's attacking system and how quickly he adapts to the rhythm of La Liga. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Revealed Liverpool's big transfer fear over Ibrahima Konate amid Real Madrid interest. Real Madrid have reportedly sent shockwaves through Anfield after opening direct lines with Ibrahima Konate over a blockbuster move to the Bernabeu. The 26-year-old has become one of the Premier League's most dependable center-backs at Merseyside, but his future now hangs in the balance. Madrid's interest comes at a critical moment as his contract with the Reds runs out at the end of this season, leaving the club at risk of losing him for nothing. What happened? Determined not to repeat the painful Trent Alexander-Arnold saga, Liverpool's hierarchy are scrambling to tie Konate down to fresh terms, but fear he's already agreed a deal to move to Madrid. The club are set to table a lucrative new deal within days, hoping to keep one of Arne Slot's few fit senior defenders at Anfield. Every possible lever is being pulled, all aimed at convincing the France international to commit his future to Merseyside. The message from the boardroom is clear. They cannot afford to see him walk away for free. The bigger picture, according to Marc, Liverpool's stance is firm. If Konate turns down this new offer again, the club will consider putting him on the market before the transfer window shuts. While they would rather keep him, selling now would at least ensure a minimum fee instead of watching him depart for nothing next summer. Tell me more. Real Madrid, meanwhile, are quietly playing the long game. The Anfield bosses fear that Konate has already made a verbal commitment to Los Blancos. If that's true, Madrid could simply wait until January, when Konate would be free to sign a pre-contract agreement. Xabi Alonso's squad planning has also been adjusted to accommodate a potential new arrival by keeping a place open in the senior team. By registering Franco Mastantuono with Real Madrid Castilla, the Merengues are ensuring they have space for Konate without needing to offload any existing first-team members. Did you know? And what many view as a telltale move, Liverpool have already agreed a £26 million, €30 million deal with Parma for teenage defensive prodigy Giovanni Leone. The 18-year-old Italian youth international is expected in Merseyside this week for a medical and to finalize personal terms. The transfer all but confirms Liverpool are bracing for any eventuality, including the worst-case scenario of losing Konate before the transfer window is closed. What next for Liverpool? Liverpool kick off their Premier League title defense against Bournemouth today. At present, Konate and Virgil van Dijk are Slot's only fully fit senior central defenders, with Joe Gomez just returning from a lengthy Achilles layoff. This means the Dutch manager has little option but to field the French international against the Cherries. Ibrahima Konate. Real Madrid take incredibly bold step. It's no secret at this stage that Real Madrid want to sign Ibrahima Konate. It no longer seems like much of a secret that Konate wants to join Real Madrid. That's the line out of Spain anyway, and has been for quite some time now. The Frenchman's contract expires at the end of the season, and Los Blancos smell another potential free transfer. It's a repeat of the Trent Alexander-Arnold saga, of course, that saw Alexander-Arnold string Liverpool along for at least a year before eventually deciding to sign for Real Madrid. They're trying the same strategy, convincing Konate that they're the ultimate destination and making it near impossible for the Reds to agree a new contract, and it appears to be working in back-to-back years. However, there's a twist here. Things are different this time around, and it means Real Madrid have taken a bold new step. Real Madrid leaves squad space for Ibrahima Konate. Marc reports that Real Madrid are leaving a squad space open in case Konate joins them in this transfer window. That involves leaving Franco Mastantuono with their Castilla side for a bit, as they did with both Vinicius and Rodrigo. So, could a transfer actually happen this summer? Yes, actually. Real Madrid are a bit desperate after finishing last season. Trophilus, their defense, in particular, looks subpar, with Dean Henderson, still a young player and one who hasn't been a player in a leading side before, their best option. They may well reach a point where success looks difficult to achieve without an elite addition there. Konate, with just 1 year remaining on his contract, would be far and away their best option. But that would mean Liverpool wanted to sell. It's possible they reach that point if a deal can be done for Marc Guehi, who also has just 1 year left on his deal. Real Madrid are only willing to put up around 25 million euros, however, which makes it difficult when Crystal Palace wants significantly more than that for their captain. Liverpool are only going to sell Konate if they can effectively replace him for free immediately, as they will be able to do next summer. So there's a long way to go here. It's certainly bold to leave a space for Konate when a deal isn't remotely close, but perhaps it's a sign that Real Madrid are more open to negotiation than first thought. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. It's easy to leave Marseille. Mason Greenwood transfer update offered by Roberto De Zerbi as manager sends out warning. Marseille boss Roberto De Zerbi warned an Endymion Mason Greenwood that, while leaving the French Giants might be simple, finding a club that offers the same platform and passion could prove far harder. The English striker's electric debut season in League One has turned heads across Europe, but De Zerbi is making it clear Marseille isn't prepared to let its crown jewel walk out the door without a fight. What happened? Greenwood's first year at the Stade Velodrome couldn't have been scripted better. Bagging 21 league goals, the former Manchester United man not only became a League One sensation, but also claimed a share of the coveted Golden Boot, along with Paris Saint-Germain striker Ousmane Dembélé. The bigger picture, such a form has inevitably stirred up interest, with clubs in Spain and Saudi Arabia monitoring his situation closely. In Spain, memories are still fresh of his standout spell at Getafe, where he showcased the same sharp eye for goal and creativity that has now lit up Marseille's attack. What De Zerbi said. Speaking to reporters ahead of the new season, De Zerbi underlined his desire to keep his core squad intact, name-checking Greenwood alongside key names like Leonardo Balerdi, Geronimo Rulli, Adrien Rabiot, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I don't think they'll leave, he said. Keeping Balerdi, Rulli, Rabiot, Højbjerg, Greenwood is important for OAM and for them. It's easy to leave Marseille, but difficult to find a similar place. Did you know? The prospect of losing Greenwood is one that Marseille's hierarchy clearly dreads. The forward has been instrumental in their attacking play, quickly becoming a fan favorite since his move from Manchester United. Crucially, a clause in the agreement that took Greenwood from Old Trafford to the south of France means United are entitled to 50% of any transfer fee the League One club might receive for him. This significantly limits the financial windfall Marseille would enjoy from any sale, making the decision to part with him all the more difficult. The club's executives know that replacing his talent, influence, and potential resale value would be a major challenge in both sporting and economic terms. What next for Marseille? While De Zerbi's recent comments are aimed at quelling speculation and keeping Greenwood focused on the season ahead, the reality is that transfer windows have a habit of producing unexpected twists. Greenwood's performances have seen his market values soar, drawing the attention of several elite European clubs who view him as a long-term attacking solution. The growing interest puts Marseille in a delicate position. Hold firm and risk unsettling the player, or engage in negotiations that could bring in a huge fee, half of which would go straight to Manchester United. With the January and summer markets offering prime opportunities for high-profile deals, a mega money bid could test Marseille's resolve. If such an offer arrives, the club's leadership will have to weigh immediate financial benefit against their long-term ambitions, squad stability, and the passionate reaction of their supporters. For now, all eyes turn to Friday evening when Marseille opened their league. One campaign with a tricky away fixture against Rennes at Roazhon Park. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.